Hi, so I'm Ross Joanidis and I work for Active Sussex and we're the strategic leads for physical activity across the whole of Sussex. So it's vitally important that we are all as physically active as we can be. The Chief Medical Officer guideline says that we should all be active for up to 150 minutes a week, but in reality we're not doing anywhere near that, or certainly a lot of us are not doing anywhere near that, and in fact some of us are falling below the 30-minute threshold, and up to 1 in 4 people in Horam are physically inactive. And the benefits of being physically active are huge for people of all ages, but particularly as we get older. So for older people living with long-term health conditions, physical activity actually reduces the risk for up to 20 to 30% for cancer, stroke, diabetes and heart disease. And being physically active has a number of other benefits as well, such as improving sleep, cognitive function, mental health, and also reducing the risk of falling and of dementia as well. So I think the residents within Horam and those coming from slightly further afield as well to use the recreation ground are really going to benefit from the pathway being put in, particularly those underserved communities, and it's also going to help to address some of the inequalities within Horam as well. So when you're looking at disabled people, people with long-term health conditions, older people, having that accessible pathway is really going to open up the possibilities here. So for people living with disabilities, you're going to be able to access this through walking aids. People in wheelchairs are going to be able to use it as well, and I think it's just going to really help to, as I say, try to tackle some of those inequalities that exist within Horam.
Do you think the pathway around the perimeter of the recreation ground is a good idea?
Yes,
Yeah.
very good idea.
And how do you think you will use it when it's installed?
Walking the dog, kids scooting.
Riding, when you're
Biking.
learning to ride a bike, that's a perfect place to learn to ride a bike.
Yeah.
Excellent. And do you think the Village Hall and Recreation Grounds Management Committee will manage the path well?
Yes.
Yes.
And of course the other group that will really benefit from having this pathway in place as well is families. So if you've got parents with young children, toddlers or children in prams, but also grandparents as well wanting to walk their children through the recreation ground, you have that accessible pathway to be able to do that. And actually you'll find for a lot of adults with young children, time can be a real barrier to them being physically active and engaging in activity. So to be able to come here with the whole family, use what's already here in terms of the green gym, the play area, the table tennis table, but for everyone to be able to use that pathway, it's going to just open up those possibilities again. So I think given what everyone's been through over the last couple of years through the pandemic, this is going to really help to bring local residents together, to bring the community together, and I think that's much needed given what everyone's been through. I think what we've seen through the COVID pandemic is people's mental well-being really affected by what's happened. So it's not just about having the pathway there to help people be more physically active, it's going to address social isolation, it's going to address loneliness for older people as well, and I think that really helps with their cognitive and emotional well-being as much as their physical well-being, and having this as a real sort of community hub is going to be so important for bringing everybody together.
Angela, as manager of the preschool, do you think the pathway around the perimeter of the recreation ground is a good idea?
Yes, I do.
And how do you think the preschool will benefit from it? How will they use it?
We take the children out for long walks, so walking around the perimeter of the area of the recreation ground will be very helpful for us.
And do you know that there's going to be nature areas as well, which will encourage, there'll be nesting boxes, encourage wildlife?
That would be even better for us, because we use those as educational stoppages on the way.
Lovely. And do you think this will bring the community together, especially after the pandemic?
Yes, I think so. It'd be nice to see families and things out together.
Good. And also the project will be run by the trustees of Horam Village Hall. Do you think that that's a good body to run this project?
Definitely.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
And I think the wider impact this is going to have on Horam would be great as well, because you're looking at people within Horam being more physically active, and I don't think it's wrong to say that that's going to reduce pressures on other local services as well, particularly if people are more physically healthier, if people are sort of engaged in activity and their mental well-being is in a much better state than it was, then we are going to be reducing pressure on local GP surgeries, on mental health surgeries, and that's just going to help Horam become a healthier place to live.
Do you think having a path around the perimeter of the recreation ground here will be a good idea?
I think it would be absolutely fantastic because fresh air, and we can go around somewhere nice and level, can't we?
Yes.
Because currently we go on the Cuckoo Trail, so if another offer nearby would be perfect.
Brilliant. And the Cuckoo Trail is quite uneven, isn't it?
It is, you've got a lot of slopes, especially wherever the bridges are, or to get on and off.
Yeah.
Whereas this, you can come in and round.
Yeah, and this is going to be made of like recycled tyres, the surface, so it'll be really smooth. How would you use it? Would it be for taking a walk?
Taking a walk, bringing the dog, bringing
Yeah.
the mother-in-law, and having a picnic.
Oh, that sounds perfect. And it will be managed by the Village Hall Management Committee. And so I just need to ask you, do you think that they will be able to manage it well?
Oh, definitely. The whole area is really well kept. Definitely.
Lovely.
Isn't it?
It is.
Pleasure coming in.
Lovely, thank you.
And I think having a pathway here, when we look at the rest of Sussex and where this has worked really well in places like Worthing and Eastbourne, is having the pathway here opens up the possibilities of other activities. So you can have walking groups, you can have walk and talk groups, you can have running groups, you could run your own park run here, you could run a couch to 5k, and I think that having that accessible pathway where people can have adapted cycles as well, but also it's opening up the green area as well. If you've got an accessible pathway in here that you can use all year round, then people can come here and actually be more active in an informal way as well, and just use the whole recreation ground because it's more accessible for people to get to.